this is like wonderful visual, then you really feel a difference. So if you take the block and put it just above the knees, so you're not squeezing it, but you're holding it firm enough that it's not going anywhere. So
I don't have that much room, but
we put it just above the knees. And when we come to standing, I mean, it makes us have to bring our feet wide enough apart, which is really good for our alignment. We want ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, ears in alignment. And if you push, like you become the Pez dispenser, here's your Pez candy, but push that Pez candy forward. What you moved a lot. I did. Yeah.
so I'm not
So-
so long.
I just want you to feel what happens when you push the Pez dispenser forward. So you're turning your legs outward, external rotation, okay? When you push the Pez dispenser back, internal rotation, we're turning the legs inward from the hips. So when you moved a lot in that, that's okay, you felt what was happening. So we want to try and do this without movement.
Oh,
So when we turn inward, the knees come inward. If we were to try to come into a squat or something, you see how my knees are wanting to crash in. Internal rotation outside of the hips, glutes are not active. Not good overall. We want to strengthen the glutes. They're big, strong muscles. We want them to be strong and firm. So when we do an external rotation, we feel the glutes engage, the outer muscles along the outer side of the hips and thighs. The hips tuck under a little bit, so you don't have that sway back. Tuck under a little bit, lift your pelvic floor, push your belly in. Everything stays in alignment. And then when you come into a squat, I mean, into an out a little bit, but the knees stay tracking over the feet and over in the same direction as the ankles instead of crashing inward. And all of this, letting go, engage, and keep that engagement. Stay firm. So you can really feel the difference when we're playing with the Pez dispenser idea. So I'm not going to need that unless you find that you're having a hard time bringing your body back to that without the assist. Then we can, and I'll leave that up to you if we need to bring the block back like that. So finding that strong foundation with our feet, finding the external rotation. Can we lift our toes? Spread the toes, set them back down. Legs, glutes are strong. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the spine. Crown of the head reaches to the ceiling. Roll the shoulders onto the back. Elbows press straight, fingertips reaching through the floor into mountain. So we want to try and find mountain in all of our poses, no matter what they are. So even if we're in warrior two, we still have that strong rooting of our feet, that external rotation of the leg from the hip joint, the glutes are engaged, everything is strong. So just pausing for a moment and breathing. Just noticing what our breath does. Are we breathing shallow? The shoulders going up and down? Are we breathing deep? We feel the belly and the rib cage expand as we pull air into our lungs. That's where we want to be. In and out through the nose. Lengthening our breath cycles so that the length of our inhale matches the length of our exhale. So maybe that's a nice slow 4 count, 5 count, wherever we are. Finding the balance between strength and softness so that our core remains strong and engaged. Front of the abs all the way around to the back, but not so strong that we lose the movement for our breath. So that balance between strength and softness. So playlist today is called Music for Active Yoga, lucky you. So let's start moving with our breath as we inhale, pushing the elbows out to the side, pushing the palms up. So we're not pulling with the neck, but pushing from underneath, palms meet overhead, And we'll start to exhale as we bring our hands to heart center. We maintain our strong mountain feet. Inhale as we lift. We maintain that external rotation of our legs from the hip joint. Glutes active, core engaged. Inhale as we push the elbows up. Lengthening the spine even more. Exhale completely as we bring the hands to heart center, lifting the chest a little bit more each time, letting the shoulders drop. Inhale. Exhale as we come to the center. And we can stay that way, or we can reverse direction, bring the elbows together, nice little stretch in the back. Inhale as we lift, exhale opening. Feeling the shoulder blades move towards each other. Chest stretches, inhale, lifting. Exhale, opening. Last time, inhale as we lift. Good. Exhale as we open, bringing our hands, loose fists, all small in the back. Thumbs on either side of the spine. Dropping the hands into the top of the hip bones, lifting the heart, feeling the spine extend. Dropping the shoulders low. Bringing the elbows towards each other. Letting the head and neck relax back. Nice opening stretch through the chest. And if we need a deeper stretch, we can interlace our fingers and straighten the elbows, walking the shoulder blades even further back. Still breathing. And releasing. So, thinking about our strong mountain feet, our strong engagement through our glutes, our hips, because we have that external rotation. Placing the hands palm up, right at the crease of your hip joint, where if you were to have a seat, your hand would disappear into your thigh there. So we're going to think about folding of our hand. So when we come into forward fold, sometimes we lead with the chest and we end up rounding the back as we reach down. So think about folding in half so that our hands here push back, and the hips go back first, spine stays long, soft bend in the knee, we don't want to lock the joint out, and we exhale coming into a forward fold. As we come up, soft bend in the knee, push the floor away from us, external rotation still with the legs, and we're unfolding at the hip. Spine stays long the whole time, heart stays lifted, shoulders broad. So if we need to keep the hands here, that's fine. If you want to keep the hands here, to keep that placement, to remind you of that, that's fine. If you want to do all the fancy pretty things with the arms, however you want to accessorize your forward fold. So, a little bit of music, match your movement with your breathing. Might be with the music, whatever feels right to you today. So, from mountain, if you're using the arms, you can inhale, bring it overhead again. Wherever we are, exhale, pushing the hips back. If our hands are at our hips, we're folding over the hands. As far as our hamstrings allow, and we maintain a long spine into forward fold. Are we feeling those hamstrings stretch? Is that a grunt? Inhale, halfway up. So push the belly button up, halfway. And let's bring the arms out to the side. Slide the shoulders into our back pockets. Reach the arms, the fingertips to the walls on either side. So shoulders go in the pockets and reach the arms. Push the belly button out, feel the core activate. Holding this here in airplane arms. And exhale. Coming down into forward fold. Inhale, soft bend in the knee, push the floor away from us. Keep those legs strong, active, and up into mountain. Moving with our breath, exhale, fold. Inhale halfway up again, this time keeping the hands on our legs. Unless it does help you to get your arms out to the side, whatever you notice you're needing a reminder. So halfway up, hands on thighs, call this monkey. Exhale, fold. Inhale, push the floor leg, pushing ourselves back into mountain. Moving and breathing, exhale, fold. Inhale, monkey, halfway up. Extra credit if you make the animal noises to go with it. Exhale, fold. Nobody wants to take me up in the animal noises. Remember. Exhale, fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain. And let's step wide. My hamstrings feel after that. You can tell the difference in what the glutes feel like with that external rotation focus. Nobody, I'm like rubbing my own. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't land in the internet world somewhere. So, when we engage our glutes, we have that external rotation, even with our feet wide. We don't want the knees kicking in, so activate the glutes, the outer hips, or the outer thighs. Keep that external rotation. You're going to feel some tightening up in the backside. What's it that it's an insult. Somebody calls you a tight ass. Let it be a compliment, not an insult. So get nice and tight. So sorry. When we come in to our bend here, the hips will shift backwards a little bit. That's okay. So the hips shift behind the heels a bit while the knees tracking towards the middle toe. We drop the hips as low as our body allows. And if we need to, we adjust the width of our stance. That's okay. We find our mountain in this pose as we push the legs straight. So we're coming straight again with the knees. We're still standing wide. We're finding our mountain stability, our rooting in our feet, strong legs, strong core, and with our arms overhead, reaching wide. Moving with our breath, we exhale, bending the knees, bring the elbows down, pushing the elbows forward, the palms facing forward, thumbs in line with the ears, and inhale, pushing everything straight and up. 5-point star, as long as we can get everything, as strong as we can be, and exhale, dropping into our moonflower. Inhale, straight into our 5-point star. Moving with our breath. Inhale as we come back up. Exhale as we bend and sink into our moonflower. So the hips should be loosening up a little bit through this. Still getting some strengthening in the glutes. How are the quads starting? Firing up if you go slowly. So if you want to build more strength in the legs, you can take your time and do this in slow motion. You will feel it. Can we lift our big toe and still do this? Let us know our body weight is not too far forward. Just sinking into the ball of the foot and the heel. And we can stay with this, or we can add a hip hinge. Long spine, hip hinge. Scooping up armholes of sunflowers and pushing back up to our 5-point side. Keeping that spine nice and long like we did in airplane. Exhale as we hinge the knees. Inhale as we push straight again. Letting the power of our legs and our core move us and support us, push us up. Making this our last one. Inhaling back up. Turn our palms to face face each other, and as we bend the knees, bring the arms level with the shoulders, palms are up. Shins under big toes. Breathing as we hold the sun. Letting the shoulders roll back and down, lifting the chest, bring the ears back over our shoulders if we need to. Bring the hands to heart center. Let's exhale, hinging at the hip, bring the fingertips to the mat. Straightening the legs. Feeling a beautiful stretch in the back of the legs. Are we still breathing? And if we choose, we can walk our hands over to our right ankle, pulling the heart past the toes, lengthening the spine, sliding the shoulders into our back pocket. Feeling the stretch along the inside of the right leg, the hips shift to the left a little bit. Another deep breath. And walking the hands back to center, leveling the hips. And then walking the hands to the left. Resting the hands on the ankle or the shin. Pulling the heart past the toes. Long spine. Sliding the shoulders into the back pocket. Lifting the heart. Breathing. Another deep breath. And walking the hands back to center. Soft bend in the knee. And we push ourselves upright, taking our time. Placing stars. Make sure that blood flows is good. And then heel toe. Let's scoot our feet, walking ourselves back into mountain. How do the hips feel, ladies? Feeling good? We'll loosen up. Hamstrings are loosening. Yeah, for sure. Hamstrings are loosening up? Yeah, nice. Good. Do you realize they were that tight? Oh, they're always tight. Yeah, welcome to the club. That's how I do this. So, yes, that's where I'm going with next. All right. Think for a second. Tell you, today was not what I expected it to be, but that's okay. Got to practice what I told everybody here so often, to just give myself permission to set it all aside. Set it all aside. This is your space, your time. All right. So from mountain, standing near the top of the mat, sun salutation time. Inhale, tall. Exhale, hinging at the hip. Bring the hands to the mat. Bending the knees as much as we need to so we can bring the palms flat, spreading the fingers, back of the knuckles pressing into the mat, and stepping back with our right leg as far as we can, as if we were getting ready to go into a lunge. So let's keep the shoulders over the wrists. We're on the ball of our right foot. Let's just relax the hips and let them sink, however far they're going to sink. Nice little stretch through that right hip flexor. And then stepping back with the left foot and pushing the hips up to the ceiling. Downward facing dog. Child's pose is an option here if you ever need to take that instead. As we inhale, collar with the core, pushing the tailbone forward, pushing the belly button up. Bring the shoulders over the wrists again into a plank. We can drop the knees if we need to. Exhale, bending the elbows, lowering the entire body as we bend, halfway down crocodile. Inhale, pull the heart forward as we drop the hips, lifting the chest. Hands aren't supporting us in cobra. If we need support with the shoulders, elbows underneath the shoulders. You lift the heart, you lift the belly. And exhale, pushing up and back. Downward facing dog or child's pose. Let's extend the right leg behind us. Bend the knee. Open the knee out to the side. It's an option, you don't have to take it. Fire hydrant. And sweeping the foot to the outside of the right hand. We're just taking it slow on that to take advantage of a nice little hip stretch there on that side. If we need the block, a little extra support with the hands, that's okay. Scooting the heel up so the knee is above or behind the ankle. If we need to drop our left knee to the mat, that's okay. Let's bring less and less support onto the block with our hands so it's all core engaged. Push the left hip forward, right hip back. Nice and strong. Inhale, tuck the tailbone, lifting up. Hands rest on the thigh, heart center, or reaching overhead. Shoulders drawn back, pushing the elbows straight. If we find we're struggling with our balance, we may need to step our feet wider so that the feet are as wide as the shoulders. The closer in the feet are towards each other, the less stability we have. So stepping wide, breathing. And again, we can always drop that left knee all the way to the floor if we need that stability while we work on the core strength and the leg strength. Inhale, exhale, drop those hips a little bit deeper. Another deep breath. And exhale, hands down to the mat. Stepping up, forward fold. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. She's like,
Me too.
guess what? That was one side. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Hands on the mat, bending the knees. Stepping back with the left foot as far as we can. Shoulders are over the wrists. We just kind of hang out. Keep the core engaged, but we let the hips relax and drop low. Deepening that stretch a little bit. Just taking our time as we move through this sun salutation flow. And then stepping back. Downward facing dog. Powering with the core. Inhale, plank, knees up or down. Exhale, bending the elbows, crocodile. Inhale, dropping hips, pulling the heart forward, cobra or sphinx, and that support with the elbows. Exhale, pushing up and back, downward facing dog. So the option again for three-legged dog, we extend the left leg behind us, bend the knee, open the hip by opening the knee out to the side. Nice extra stretch there. And sweeping the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Dropping the right knee if we need to. Pulling the heart forward, pushing the left hip back, right hip forward. Less and less support with our fingertips on the block. Finding where we need to be with our legs. Body weight is even between both feet and tucking the tailbone. Partnering with our core as we come up. Hands rest on the thigh, heart center, or reaching overhead. Widening our stance if we need to for stability. Or bringing the knee back onto the mat wherever we need to. One thing that I've noticed, just through experience, is while so often I want to be here, with the legs straight, pushing that heel back, if I drop the knee, because I know I'm really tight here, I actually get a better, more effective stretch in here with the knee down. So wherever we need to be, another breath, and exhale, hands to the mat. Stepping up, forward fold. Sigh of relief, everyone. And inhale, pushing the floor away from us as we come up and into mountain. Exhale, chair. Remember, we want that external rotation. Glutes engaged. Core is active. Maybe we lift our heels, balancing chair. Feeling quads fire up yet? Yeah. And dropping the heels, hinging into forward fold. The quads relaxing, the hamstrings stretching. And inhale, pushing up into mountain. opening the heart, bringing the hands behind the back. Same option we had earlier. Whatever we need to do with this option. Opening the chest. Letting the neck relax back. And release. How do you feel? Sweat. This isn't hot yoga. I know I'm breaking a little sweat too. That's okay. Do you want hot yoga?
No, we're good.
We're good.
If I sweat, the shirt talks.
All right, so we've got a little bit of time, a little ahead of where I thought we would be at this point, which is good. So how many months have I been doing this with you guys now? We just started back in what, October? So we're at the end of month 3, something like that. So, sun salutations, lunges, the poses in that. We do that most classes, and we haven't really broken it down any more than the way I've talked us through it. So we've got time. What questions do you guys have about what's the poses in that flow, or what you may or may not be feeling that you think you should or maybe you shouldn't, or just trying to get all the pieces together? We can take a couple of minutes and can address specifics in that, so that next time we do it, you can notice the difference in your own bodies. Wide open.
I have a question about, and we're talking
Yes.
about the shoulders being
Uh-huh.
back.
Right.
I don't know if I do that.
If you're doing that, okay.
So, but the neck, see, I was listening, but
Yeah, and it can be challenging sometimes to go from when you're here and you're pushing the elbows up and you know that you have your shoulders back instead of here, to go from here when you're upright to maintain that same thing and trying to do it when you're upside down and fighting against gravity and holding it away. So if you want to, we can pop into it. I can come around, make sure everybody's shoulders are good, and we can tweak a little bit if we need to. You game? Yeah. All right. Pop into down dog. It's always short.
oh,
So bring the heart down a little bit more. Push your butt up more. But not from the feet, but from the upper. There you go. And bring your hands over your shoulders close to my hand. Feel a little bit of difference? Push your belly button up. More.
yeah, same thing.
And flatten the hands as best as you can. Feel a nice filling. So if that alignment looks good, how's that feel? Feels fine? Awesome. So I need to walk you through that. Yeah, there you go. Just set the heart down towards the thighs a little bit. How about push the up? You can drop out of it.
I did.
And then push the heart down.
So worried.
I want to push.
And you
Push the belly button up.
What?
You look like you're kind of shrugging up. It's a lot of things to remember. It really is. It really is. Yeah. How does the neck feel? Feels fine. Can you feel a difference where you are now? Oh, yeah. Yes. So what you can do is keep forcing towards the heart. Force it back a little bit more. And that's up here.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. All right, you ready?
Sure.
Sure. All right, so you're letting your shoulders come in before they go back, okay? I want them to look wider, so like wide in here. Arm like in here. Okay, that alignment's really good right there. Push belly button up. There. You felt that difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really push strong.
Yep.
There you go.
Oh, all right.
Feel the difference? Sure.
I just feel like it hurts.
Will it hurt?
Well, I mean, it hurt in good ways.
Stretch. Right. Now, downward facing dog can also be a great rest.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, baby.
So
My wrist just can't take that.
Right, this is a lot.
Yeah.
To be
are you
open up.
pushing
Same here.
hard into the heel of your hand?
210 pounds is,
So if you're pushing hard into the heel of your hand, that's gonna take a lot of pressure on the wrist.
yeah, so don't do that.
So you do want the heel, but that's not all you want, okay? So you want, after the first knuckle,
Oh, in here too.
fingers spread tight at the back of your knuckles, so you're not gripping, but like here, and like pushing the tip of the thumb and the first finger in, so that you're not like here, because that's gonna throw things off. When you push the back of the knuckles and the pad of the thumb and first finger in the back of all the knuckles, as you spread the hand wide, you have a lot more surface contact.
My wrist.
It does hurt more.
Yeah.
You gotta work on that. Okay, another thing you can do is roll up the side of the corner of your mat so that you're elevating your wrists.
Yeah.
And then as you're pressing, you've got that bit of cushion and you're getting a different alignment. Could be that we need to do some more wrist stretching, but we can work on that. So, yeah, so that shoulder placement, that whole thing, that made sense. And all of you had to get the butt like angled up a little bit more
Ooh.
and like the shoulders away, like you're like if you give yourself a hug and the muscles that you're touching when you're giving yourself a hug, you want those muscles engaged, kind of pulling your shoulders down and back, and at the same time you're pushing your arms overhead. So, we're not worried about the upholstery. We're looking at the structure that's underneath. So you can reupholster a chair any way you want. So the structure underneath is what we want to stay in place so that the chair holds up when you go to sit in it. All right, what are we feeling after all that? We're stretched. A lot of times you sit at a desk, do a lot of work like this. Uh-huh. Let's just start by bringing back the hands. Everybody usually has their elbows up. Drop the elbows. Feel that stretch starting across the top. And if we're not quite feeling that, we can extend the arm and use the other hand to help push. So keeping the elbows straight but not locked. Because we're used to doing this, especially when we're sitting like this and we're typing, doing things. This gets contracted, so we want to counter that by stretching it. And sometimes when I do it, I feel it like all up here. Is it making any difference? Can you tell? Yeah. Yeah, this is how you walk to the break room.
Anyway, what are we doing? Stretching.
We're stretching. So. You cut the wrist, we can do gorilla next time. That gets this angle. And hamstrings. All right. So let's grab our You're candy on at this point. You're good. So let's grab our stretches, have it handy, but let's start in butterfly. I'm just noticing where we are. One knee wants to stay higher than the other. Does it feel like we're straining to kind of hold up? The body's just not like relaxing yet. So sometimes we need a little extra support just to let the body know it's okay. You're not going anywhere. So it can kind of just relax into it. So if that's ever the case, grab an extra block or two. Or if you're at home, sit on the floor doing this, grab throw pillows from the couch or a couple of rolled up towels or rolled up mat just to give yourself that little bit of support. Because bolsters would be amazing to have in here for yoga. But I'm going to stop that here. Because they're like that big around, like a neck roll pillow.
Oh.
That's just like this long. You can
Yeah.
lay over the whole thing. It's 20 inches. It's great, especially if you're doing like a yin yoga class where you kind of go into a pose, you just let gravity work with you, and you just right support. So get creative with things that you have at home for what your body needs. So let's keep the angle that our legs are currently at. So we're not going to bring the leg any further in or further out. But let's take the right foot and extend it so the leg goes straight at the same angle that we were at. And if it's more comfortable to bring the left foot in, that's perfectly okay. So sitting nice and tall. We want to use a strap as we go into like a half turn fold revolving knee, head to knee pose. We can, but rather than just turning and reaching towards the foot, we want to inhale long on the spine, exhale, twist to face the foot, pushing the heel forward, the toes are up. So we're engaging more core muscles to hold us in the twist. Both sides of the hips stay down. You can loop the strap around the ball of the foot. Let the shoulders relax low. The strap is just a guide, so that as we widen our arms, with the strap, the tension is on the strap, not on our arms, if that makes sense. So we widen our hands, we widen the strap, and the body's moving forward as that happens. We're hinging from the hip like in forward fold. As far as our body allows, maybe we don't need the strap, we can just walk our hands down the leg. Maybe we can touch our foot. Another name for this is I do my own pedicure. So we can add another opening variation to this. So if we have the strap around the foot, if we're not able to touch the foot, that's okay. We take the strap with both sides into our right hand. We take our left hand to our heart. Now if we can reach our foot, we take the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Left hand's on the heart, and let's lift the heart up towards the ceiling. When we're able to get shoulders in alignment with each other, then we open. Let the shoulder blades move towards each other as the shoulders sink low on the back. Still breathing into the twist, right? Continue to push the right heel forward, the toes are up. We turn to look at our left hand. Nice twist through the spine. Nice stretch to our right hamstring. Lift the pelvic floor off of the mat, push the belly button in. Really stabilizing the core and grounding our hips. So on either side of the hips are lifting up. As we exhale, let's come back to face our toes, crossing our wrists. Maybe we're still holding the strap. And bending the elbows, maybe we sink a little bit deeper. If we can bring our rib cage to our thighs, we have some support on the low back. It's okay if we're not there. We all start where we are. So if we can bring our rib cage to our thighs, then rounding the upper back, letting the head drop down. Now, as you're stretching the hamstring, you don't want to lock that knee joint out. So if we need to keep that knee bent a little bit, that's okay. We can put another rolled mat underneath it, a pillow. If we're really tight, we can even place a block underneath that knee joint. We just don't want to lock the joint out by trying to push the leg too straight. And let's walk the hands back up the leg and inhale back to face center. You feel like totally on that now? You okay over there? she's still breathing, this is good. So coming back to butterfly. Butterfly feels pretty good now. Same idea, keeping the angle with the leg where it is, let's extend our left leg. Straight position with the foot up, the heel forward. If it helps, we can bring our right leg in a little. Nice and tall. If we know we want to use a strap, have it handy. As we inhale, we lengthen the spine more. As we exhale, we turn our entire torso to face our left foot. Strap around the ball of the foot. As we exhale, we widen our hands, widen the strap, move this closer to the leg. Maybe we can reach the foot with our hand. Throwing this maybes, mere suggestion. Go where your body is willing. If we can bring our rib cage to the thigh, we can then let the upper back round, the head dropping towards the knee. Wherever we are, continue to push the heel forward, toes up. Breathing. Lifting the pelvic floor, engaging the core. And if we want to take that variation, that opening option, we can take our left hand to hold the straps, or on the inside of our left foot, right hand to the heart, and inhale, lifting the heart towards the ceiling, and then opening, reaching the arms opposite direction, so we're feeling that muscle energy going both directions to the arms. Driving the hips down, lifting the pelvic floor, still breathing, turning to look at our right hand, nice stretch all through or twist all through the spine, nice stretch through the left hamstring. And breathing. Exhale, rotating back to face the foot, crossing the wrist over the ankle, getting the elbows, bring us closer to the mat. And inhale, walking the hands up, and turning back to face the front. Coming back into butterfly. Hallelujah. You've got a look on your face. You okay? I'm fine.
Yeah,
All right.
I just have that tightness.
But yeah, I'm very tight too.
Just doing this hip.
It's a good stretch for that.
I know you could stretch that many things at one time. So, fantastic. All right. Anything else before we move into finalization? Anything that's talking to you, needing extra attention?
The right side of my neck.
The right side of your neck.
Neck tender when I do this.
And when you do
Not just, yeah.
so they'll do this.
I
So don't do this. All right, so sitting however is most comfortable. So in addition to just turning and moving the neck, focusing on maintaining that strong core. And noticing, you might be able to see it better if I turn this way. Noticing, are we rocking back on our hips? So I'm kind of sitting more on the back of the hip bones. They're not quite level. So if my block were my hips, I'm like here. We want to be here, but it's also easy to go here. And sometimes when we sit pitched forward, because our hips can be tight, then we think, oh yeah, I need to sit straight. So we try to lift the heart, but that creates an overextended arch in the back because we haven't rocked our hips back. So trying to find this placement with our hips. So we can lift the pelvic floor, push the belly in, engage the core muscles all the way around, stabilizing the spine from its base, so that as we move the spine at our neck, everything stays happy. So with the breath, going to inhale tall, noticing our core, keeping it engaged. Exhale, turning the neck. Looking over the shoulder, and inhale center. 3 times each side. So we're getting some stretch through the muscles on the away side from where we're looking. Going as far as we are able without force. And after 3 or 4, switching sides, inhale tall, making sure the hips are where they need to be, core is engaged, exhale twisting, just by turning to look over the other shoulder. And inhale center. Exhale turn. So the only thing moving in the body as we do this is the chin, the neck. So it's easy to want the whole torso to move or the shoulders to move as well. But let's just move the neck so we get stretched. And then coming back to center, dropping chin to chest. And then inhale, lifting the chin towards the ceiling, even past the upper jaw. And then dropping chin to chest on the exhale. Dropping the shoulders lower, don't let them creep up. Inhale, lifting. Come back to center. Exhale, dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. Is that the side that's stretching or the side that's leaning? I have that happen on my left side. And inhale up. Exhale, drop. Inhale up. Let those shoulders sink low. Inhale up. Exhale, dropping the ear again. Pausing here. Taking the right hand at our side, walking the fingertips out. That's the right hand. Whichever side your head is leaning towards, that's that side. Taking the other hand behind the back. Dropping the shoulder low, opening up the side of the neck a little bit. And then turning to look down at our extended hand. So our ears still drop towards the shoulder, but our spine is still upright except for that bend, that flexion in the neck. And then as we turn our gaze, turning our head, it moves that stretch into one of those other side muscles of the neck. So another breath here. And then keeping the ear drop to the shoulder, both shoulders as low as we can bring them, we turn our gaze up to the ceiling. And we feel the stretch move to another set of muscles on the side. I should brush up my fancy anatomy names for those. There are these ones, those ones, and that one. And turning the head back to center, inhaling upright. And dropping the ear, left ear, opposite side. And inhale up. And exhale, dropping. Shoulders low, inhale, center. And exhale, drop. Inhale, center. And dropping the ear one more time, pausing here. Taking the arm, walking the fingertips out to the side. Taking our other arm behind the back, palm facing out. Shoulders dropping low, making sure our hips are still steady. Core is active and strong. And the ear drop a little bit lower. And then turning to look down at our extended hand. Feeling the stretch move to the side of the neck. breathing through it. Another deep breath. And then turning our gaze to look up at the ceiling. The ear stays dropped, the shoulders stay low. Another deep breath. Did we hit the spot, Amy? Couple of times? Good. Good. And everybody else, thanks you for being tensioning it. Then turning our gaze to center again. And inhale as we can. Couple of big neck rolls. Inhale as we round up. Exhale as we round down. So 2 circles around going each direction. Inhale as we round up. Exhale as we round down. And then with our hands behind the thighs, rolling onto our back, bring the knees into the chest, rocking side to side to roll out the low back a little bit. And then finding where we need to be for Savasana, final relaxation. So maybe we extend the legs long, maybe we keep the knees bent, maybe we find lying down butterfly with the feet together. Wherever we are, we close the eyes. We allow the neck to lengthen and then soften as the muscles in the jaw soften. The muscles around the eyes relax. We feel the shoulders slide away from our ears and melt into the mat. Arms heavy beside us. We notice the gentle rise and fall of our chest and abdomen with every breath. We allow our hips to soften a little bit more, unfolding even, opening up as the legs grow heavy, the feet flopping out to either side. Toes turned outward as the legs just unfold, growing heavier. And as we breathe, we allow the breath as it fills our lungs, travels into the bloodstream. That breath travels to the extremities, finding those little pockets of tension or stress or anything we may still be holding on to. And as we breathe out, we allow that breath as it comes back into the lungs to take that stress and tension and leave the body with our breath. So that every breath in and every breath out, we find ourselves becoming more and more relaxed as we sink deeper and deeper into the mat.
Hey Gloria, this is Reed.
I did not know that was going to happen. I'm so sorry. with our next breath. And bring gentle movement into the body. Wiggling fingers and toes. Turning head side to side. Rotating wrists and ankles. Bringing movement into the body. Listening to our body's cues for what that movement may need to be. Maybe we bring our knees into the chest again, hugging them in, stretching out the low back as we roll side to side. And then turning onto one side, cradling our head in our arm, breathing deeply. And as we're ready, we gently press up to seated. Sitting however is most comfortable. Tall through our spine, arms relaxed, shoulders sinking away from the ears. And taking one more deep inhale together. Arms out to the side, palms meet overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Hope you have a wonderful evening, a wonderful remainder of the week, and a Merry Christmas. Namaste.